Hello, this video is how to multiply a fraction, our second video of this topic. Let's look at our number routine. I caught 2/5 pounds of squid and 1/4 pound of crab. Being generous, I donated half of my seafood catch to SpongeBob. How many pounds did I donate to SpongeBob? Maybe you got the joke. So I caught 2/5 pounds of Squidward and 1/4 pound of Mr. Crab. So I caught them in a net. So what operation is that? I caught them. Is that adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing? I believe that is adding. So I caught 2/5 pounds of squid and 1/4 pound of crab. Being generous, I gave half of that catch to SpongeBob. So once I figure out how many pounds of seafood I have, I'm going to have to give half of it to SpongeBob. What is half of? Of. I'm giving a part of something, a portion of something. So I am multiplying. But before I can multiply, I need to figure out how many pounds of seafood I have. 2/5 plus 1/4. Do you know what 5 and 4 share with a common denominator? We just did several lessons on this. Look back on previous lessons if you forgot how to add and subtract fractions. So what do 5 and 4 share in common? They both share 20. What can I multiply 5 by to get 20? I can multiply the numerator and denominator by 4. So that's 8/20. And for this one, what can I multiply 4 by to get 20? By 5. So that's 5/20. So I rename 2/5 as 8/20. I rename 1/4 as 5/20. So how much seafood did I catch in all? 13/20 a pound, which is about 6,500 pounds. So now I am going to give half of that to SpongeBob. So half of, I need to multiply. And very, very soon in different lessons, we're going to talk half of is the same thing as dividing by 2 when we learn how to divide fractions. So half of. So let's multiply. So what do you remember of multiplying fraction? You multiply the numerators, 13. You multiply the denominators, 40. So I gave 13/40 pounds of seafood to SpongeBob. They're a dear, dear friend. All right, so here's a video. Let me see if I can turn up the volume and see if you can listen to it. If you're going to hear the astronaut guy, he said that the moon's gravitational pull is 1/6 of Earth. That means the following. If John weighs 84 pounds on Earth, how much will he weigh on the moon? So if you are on the moon, you are 1/6 of your weight on Earth. So what's 1/6 of 84? Of. I'm finding a part of something. Let's make a prediction. 1/6. So I'm going to predict here. If it's 1/6, will the weight on the moon be more than 84 or less than 84? Hopefully you'll say less than 84 because 1/6 is a fraction that's less than 1. You're finding only part of it. And in elementary school, you should have learned how to multiply fractions by whole numbers. If you forgot, no worries. We are multiplying fraction. How do you rewrite 84 in fractional form? You just put a 1 underneath it. Now you multiply the numerators across 84. You multiply the denominators across 6, and we get 84/6. Can we simplify this? Can sixes go into 84? I think it goes in perfectly if I'm not mistaken. How many sixes go in 8? One time. We have 6. Remainder's 2. Bring down the 4. How many groups of sixes go in 24? 4 times. So we're done. So 14 pounds. Wow. So if you're on Earth, you weigh 84 pounds. Talk about a drastic diet. If you go on the moon, you will be 1/6, a sixth of it, a portion of the weight of Earth. You'll only be 14 pounds. So people want to go on a diet, biggest loser, go to the moon. All right, now, here's a little joke. You want a piece of me? Yeah, pizza. Get it, pizza of me. Yeah. Anyway. All right, so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be working in your groups answering this question. You are going to be using fraction circles, and you are going to be using arithmetic. Joanna's mother gave her 1 1/4 pizzas. Joanna ate half of the pizzas. Using fraction circles and arithmetic, can you show me how much pizza she ate? So here, I'm going to start with fraction circles. So this is how much she gave away. She's going to have to she ate half of it. So let me shade in half of it. So she ate this half, and she ate half of this. What fraction is that? Well, you know what? Let's break this up. So this is this part. This is this part. Well, it seems like I broke this 1/4 in half. I found half of 1/4. Then I found half of this. Can I break this whole pizza into smaller parts that still represent one whole? Yes, so let's cut this into fourths, and let's cut this into eighths. So she ate, ooh, it went perfectly. She ate 1/8, 1/8. Oh wait, I need to cut this one more time. She ate 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. What is 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8? So she ate 5/8 the whole pizza. Another way you could have done it is she ate half of this plus 1/8 of this. 1/2 plus 1/8 is 5/8. That's another way you could have done it. But what if you're sitting here and say, I do not want to use fraction circle. I want to use arithmetic. Half of the pizza. So she ate half of the pizza. And how much pizza did her mom give her? 1 1/4 of, well, first of all, half. Are we multiplying more than 1 or less than 1? We are multiplying by a fraction that's less than 1. So our quantity will be less than what we start with of 1 1/4. So 1/2, so we're finding part of something. Half times 1 1/4. Are we multiplying fractions? Is this in fraction form? Do you remember from elementary school how to turn this 1 1/4 into fractional form? Dun, 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 dun. You multiply the denominator, the whole numbers 1, plus the numerator 1. That would be 5/4. 1 1/4 is the same as saying 5/4. If you don't believe me, fine. Here we go. Here is 1 whole and 1/4. How many fourths do you see here? 5/4. Now let's multiply 1/2 by 5/4. Multiply the numerators across 5. Multiply the denominator across 8. So that's how I got 5/8. Hey, same answer as my picture form. So here's a question. Did you convert it into a improper fraction? Why? We did, because we're multiplying by fraction. Let's erase that. Next one. Did you convert it to decimals? You could if you want to. If you like working with decimal, work with decimal. You could have multiplied 1/2, which is 5/10, times 1 1/4, or 1 25/100. And did you exchange a fourth with eighths? And we did do that. So how do you multiply mixed numbers? First of all, you have to work with fractions or improper fractions. We got to work with fractions or improper fractions. So we need to make sure everything is with those. So we need to work with fractions or improper fraction. And then you multiply the numerator across. Then you multiply the denominators across, and sometimes, not always, you're going to have to simplify. That's why I'm going to put if needed. So we're going to be practicing. You're going to have a foldable activity. You're going to fold a sheet of paper, and then you're going to answer these questions here. Moshe runs an average of 240 films per day. Of these, 1/3 are action films, 1/6 are comedies, and 1/5 are sci-fi films. On average, how many rented films each day are in one of these three categories? So expression means showing their work. So 1/3 are action films. So 1/3 of the 240 films are action. 1/6 of the 240 films are comedies. That's a 6, by the way. 1/5 of the 240 films are sci-fi. So we're finding part of it. So we need to multiply these fractions. Because we are multiplying by a fraction that's less than 1, I know that our answer will be less than 240. So 1/3 times 240. Is 240 written as a fraction form? Let's turn it into a fraction form. 240 over 1. Now you multiply the numerator across, multiply the denominator across. 240. Can 3 go into 240? 3, it goes in 80 times. So there are 80 action films. 1/6 of 240. Let's write 240 in fraction form. So we multiply that by 2. Multiply the numerator across 240. Multiply the denominator across, that's 6. Can 6's go into 240? Yes, it can. 40 times. So that's comedy. And our last one, sci-fi. Love sci-fi. 1/5 of 240. Let's write 240 in fraction form. Let's multiply the numerators across and denominators across, 240 over 5. And 240 divided by 5 goes in perfectly 48 sci-fi. And that is how we found the portion of which movies were what. Next one. At Best Buy, during one weekend, 1/3 of the total number of products sold were video players. So if you would like a picture from to show this, here are all the different products. 1/3, that's this part right here, are video players. And of this fraction, 3/5, so if I cut this into 5 equal parts, 3/5 of it would be for DVD players. What fraction were DVD players? So we know it's going to be less than what we start with. So 3/5 of the 1/3 products are DVD products. Oh, that's our expression. So we need to multiply. So we get 3/15. Great answer. Could we simplify it? What can I divide both numbers by 3? I get 1/5 of the products are DVD players. So if I divide this into 5 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we should have gotten, oh, I did shade in really, really nice. We should have been shading there. That's cheating right there. 3/15 of it, or 1/5, would have been for DVD players. And our last question. Tom did a food experiment making bread for his project. He needed to make 1.5 times. I'm going to highlight that. On last year's STAR test, there was a question like this. Kids did not see the word times. They added the numbers or divided the numbers. It says it. I'm making 1.5 times. I'm doubling times. So times the recipe. The recipe required 2 1/4 cups of flour. How many cups of flour did Tom need for this experiment? So I'm doing 1.5 times the recipe of the cups of flours. Do you like working with mixed numbers? I don't. I would like to turn this into improper fractions because we're multiplying fractions. What's another way to say 1 and 1/2? 1 whole have 2 halves plus a half, that's 3 halves. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3 halves. Times 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 more is 9/4. Again, if you have no idea how I came up with that, I have 2 and 1/4. I cut them into fourths. I have 2 wholes that each one has fourths. That's 8 of them. Plus 1 more is 9/4. Now I multiply the numerators across, 27. Multiply the denominators below, it's 8. Great answer. But we're talking about recipes, so we need to talk about the number of cups of flour. Can 8 go in 27 3 times? That's 24. We have 3 left over. 3 and 3, 8 cups of flours. Again, if you cannot do that in your head, no worries. Just divide it like this way. Can 8 go in 27 3 times? That's 24. What do you have left over? 3, 3, and 3, 8. And that's how you multiply fractions.